Whitetail Taxidermy Studio in Raleigh, North Carolina. Today we'll be caping out a whitetail deer to show you how you can properly transfer it from county to county, state to state. The tools you'll need today is I'm using a scalpel. You can either use a knife, a sharp knife, screwdriver to get around the bases, and I'm using a multi-tool to get the horns off at the end. You can also substitute a sawzall or a hacksaw for that. Where I normally start is right here around the lips. The first cut I normally make is around the lip line. I'm separating the skin from the jaw on top and the bottom all the way around on both sides. Take my scalpel, start right here up top. And this is where the cartilage of the nose is, so it's a little hard, so you got to push a little bit until it goes right on through, just like that. And go right on around, stay next to the bone and cut away from the skin. It's got your upper side loose all the way to the back of the mouth. Now, going through the nose cavity, all the way back around to the other side. And staying tight to the bone, cut through the back of the nose. All the way down. Then I'll go over to the lower side. Same thing, right up next to the bone. Tight to the jaw. And just free it up. All the way down to the back of the mouth. Spin him around. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Just stay right up next to the bone, just separating that skin. Right on down. You go back up to your top side. Free it up all the way around, just like that. When I get it to this point, I'll just start going up the top of the nose. The biggest thing is always keep your scalpel blade right beside the bone. That way you're not cutting skin. That's got that whole muzzle area freed up. Right to the back corners of your mouth. And I normally stop about right here, because this is even with the tear ducts. We don't want to cut those from the front, we'll get those from the back side. And the cut we'll be using today is a Y. It's one of the simpler cuts. We're coming in the back corner of this, down to here. The back corner of the other antler burr, right back to here. And you're making a little tail off of it, going down and makes a Y cut. What I like to do is get him in the hair so I don't cut the hair. Get underneath and just bring it down to about right behind the ears. Then I'll repeat that same thing right here from the other side. and make my cuts meet up right in the middle. There's several different incision types. A lot of times when I'm in my shop, I use a burr to burr with straight across, which is a more difficult cut. But I'm trying to keep this video as simple as possible, so we're going to use a Y cut. Now I'm just taking from the back of that Y and running it down a little bit further to about the end of the skull. Now what I do is I'm making a little incision right here at the burr, lead back into my first incision, and I take my screwdriver and just start peeling that skin away from the burr. Come over here and do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes if it's too tight, just take your scalpel or knife and go right around up tight to those antler burrs. And that'll help free it up. That's what we got so far. What you want to do is carry this all the way around those antler burrs. Until you get to the back around your incision. Repeat the same thing on the other side. Be careful around your antlers so you don't headbutt your antlers. That does hurt. It has happened. You got it freed up all the way around on both sides. And what I do is I take my knife, start trimming around your ears. Once again, stay up tight to the skull so you don't cut your ear cartilage too far out. I'll show you a close-up in a minute of what it should look like. Just like that, right up next to the bone, staying away from the hide. And when you get down to the bottom of the ear, you'll have the ear canal. Cut right next to the skull, cut right through it. I'll free that ear completely up. And we'll repeat the same thing on the other side. There's that ear canal. Now on this one, make this wide a little bit longer. Long-haired deer, it'll sew up easy. You won't see any seams. Well, you have plenty of room to work. This is the bottom of that ear canal where it comes back together. It's free all the way around the antler burrs. When you're cutting here, cutting that white skin and separating it. Now, when you get up close to your eyes, what you want to do is put your finger and pull up. Don't cut your finger, stay close to the skull. And what you're actually doing is pulling that eye skin out. So you're cutting behind it to open that area up. Just stay as tight as you can to the bone all the way around the eye. This is the front corner of your eye. Another area where you want to stay super tight to the bone. That leads into your tear duct, which is this area right here. That's two skin flaps that come together in there, and it's connected back here to your skull. So you forehead down a little bit. This area, I know I keep repeating myself, but just stay as tight to that bone as you can. Use your offhand to pull the skin away from the skull. And free all of that up. What you'll do is you'll meet that cut that we first made coming in from the nose. This whole eye is loose on this side. Repeat the same process on this side. Back to the front corner of the eye, staying super tight to that bone, and going all the way around that eye orbit. Back to the front of the tear duct. We got that eye free. Then we're just going to go over the top of the nose here. And finish matching that cut up all the way around. So that whole top of that head's free. Then what that does is it gives you more slack on this bottom jaw, so you can get further back in here, back into this area. And just going around this jaw line, just staying tied up to next to the bone. Getting all of that good and loose. When you do that, all of this will pull forward. We got a little bit more neck in this, so I'm going to cut this down a little bit further. And we'll go ahead and get this off. And when you're cutting the back part of this Y, try to stay straight in the middle of the neck. If you get off a little bit, it's not a big deal, but just always better just to try to stay straight. And always, when possible, cut from the inside out. That way you're not cutting hair. Not quite yet. So I'm just loosening it up. And back here you're staying tight to the meat and staying away from the hide. Get him to this point. And invert him like this. Now you can see everything we're doing. And the further you take that neck down when you're skinning him, the less you have to go when you're caping them out. So we're almost down to the back end. This deer had a little bit longer neck left in it. No problem. I normally try to cut mine off about 2 inches behind the skull. And when you get to the back end, that's what it'll look like. That's when you know you're through. Almost there. We got our head. And our cape. Now what we're going to be doing is removing the antlers from the skull. What we'll be doing is we'll be cutting a straight line across here, back to here, and back around the back of the skull. Alright, now we should have the skull loose. I just take my screwdriver, put it in my cut. Pop the antlers out. And what I'll do is I'll trim this meat up. And I'll just get this out of the way. All I'm doing is just getting this extra meat around the skull off. Then I like taking a little bit of borax and putting on here. It kills the odor kind of and just goes ahead and dries that meat out. Doesn't have a smell to it. The more meat you get off, the better. Meat cut down. It's that borax I was talking about. So those antlers are ready. All right, so now we got our antlers attached from our cape. That's what it should look like on the wide cut. Another thing I want to hit on real quick is make sure you leave plenty of legs and plenty of brisket. That's what you see on your mounts. So what I like to do is cutting off about 6 inches behind the front legs. I hope this video helped you. Leave any questions in the comments below, and feel free to give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.